In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the most merciful. Today I would like to do a video with my queen, and I want to just ask, we're going to ask each other a couple of questions, and I'm going to surround this topic around love and relationship, because it's love that supports a relationship. But without love, the relationship can ultimately crash. So I'm gonna let her take over the show. This is Cherie Robinson. This is my queen. This is my queen right here. I love her to death. Sometimes she can be delusional, but
no, he can be delusional.
Nah. Let me ask you a question, Cherie.
Sure.
What do love mean to you?
What does love mean to you? What's my definition of love?
What it mean to you?
Can you elaborate on that question?
Like, what does love mean? What does love mean to you in a relationship? And how important is it for you to have love in a relationship?
It's very important to have love in a relationship. Without love, there's no real relationship. It's just like a thing. To me, love is like sacrifice. It is compromise. It is giving to each other. And I'm not talking about like gifts and stuff. I'm talking about giving your time, your effort, your conversation, your thoughts to each other. Basically, that's what love is.
That's actually a beautiful answer. And I was trying to add on to that, but it's kind of hard to add on to that answer because she actually covered everything. Well, love is infinite, but she covered a lot of things I was going to say about love. That was a good answer. Because love is sacrifice. It's devotion.
Yes.
Love is the highest understanding of elevation.
It's grace.
And it's definitely grace. It's definitely that. I got another question. Why should we have belief and faith first in God? Why is that?
Because there's nothing without God. God is everything. God is who shows you grace by giving you grace. God is everything. That's why. He teaches you, he shows you, he's a provider for you, he does everything for you. And so that's what you're supposed to put God first before anything. You put God before you put yourself, before you put your mate, he comes first.
That's facts. That's facts. You say God comes first. And that's the only order.
Yeah.
You can't change that.
No.
That's tradition.
Yeah, that's period.
Okay? Now the second question is, why should we believe in our mate, in our spouse?
Because they're a part of you. So it's like you want that person to do good because they're a part of you. They're your everything. For most people, they're your everything. They're a part of you. So that's why you're supposed to have faith. You're supposed to have as much faith as you have in yourself and your mate. You're supposed to love yourself as much as you love your mate.
Collaborate that a little more. That's real.
If you love yourself first, you have to. If you don't love yourself, how can you love anybody else?
Okay. So, I want to add on to that. I believe that a man or a woman, like you said earlier, has to love God first. Has to love God first. And then you can love your spouse. You can love your mate properly. You can love them. Because if you love God and you truly love God, you're not going to hurt the creation of God, the blessing that God has given you.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that. You know?
I believe that.
Okay. You mentioned something earlier about sacrifice. Why is it necessary to sacrifice in a relationship?
Because if you don't sacrifice, there'll be no understanding. I mean, if I can't sacrifice for you and you can't sacrifice for me, then what are we in this relationship for? I mean, you gotta be able to give up something for something.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's real. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of people are not willing to give up something because of pride, ego, all those superficial qualities that's useful, but out of turn, it can be abusive. Because it's okay for a person to have pride. You have to have pride.
Yeah.
But excessive pride becomes a problem.
Yeah.
It's okay to have an equal. You know, we swore with the eagles, but we talking about the other eagle. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay to have an ego. But an obsessive ego, that's where problems come in. So I 100% agree with you on that, for sure. I got another question for you. The younger generation. Why is there so many younger generations that they can't find relationships and hold on to them? Why?
Because they doing what they see and not what they feel. Like, I know young ladies and young men who may feel a certain type of way about a person, but they see this person not doing, this person ain't in a relationship, this person is doing this, and they want to do what they do instead of what's best for them. And that's why a lot of young people today are not in relationships. That's how I see it.
That's interesting what you said, because it seems like when you're on a journey like this, everything that you see outside of yourself becomes a topic or becomes knowledge that you can use. I seen on Lee Road, it was two ladies strolling their children down the street. One had a stroller pushing her child, and another one had a stroller behind her pushing her child. But what I seen, it was, they had the same mindset. You know what I'm saying? They like, they was on the same path. It's evident that they was married to a man. She was married to a man, and they was only in that circle. So when you have relationships like that, where you have a married man that been married for 20 or 30 years, and this youngin' that's probably 20 or 23 that got married and maybe going through difficulties. When he asked that man that been married for 20 or 30 years, how do you overcome these problems? He gonna give him suffice information that's organically good to help solve the issues that he or she has. But if he's dealing with somebody that's his age that has never seen a relationship work, or is a person that's just out here in the streets doing whatever they want to do, they're never not gonna have good information for that relationship, because they never had one and made one really work. You know what I'm saying? So they don't really have good advice for that person, because it got to be done from experience when you're dealing with marriage and relationships, because marriage is from God. So therefore, when you get married, it's like y'all become one. So y'all struggles become one. So y'all gonna get wisdom from each other, you know, and you're gonna benefit from that. and you hand that down to your children. So I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. You got anything else you want to add to that?
No.
She don't like to speak too much, but off camera she speaks a
do.
lot.
I do.
A lot.
I do.
But let me see. I just want to ask you another question, because a lot of people can benefit from these question and answers. Why it's not good to have people in your relationship? Seriously.
There's a lot of different reasons why you shouldn't have people in your relationship. It depends on, first, what people are you having in your relationships. Because there are jealous people who don't want to see you happy. Then you got people who they're not happy, so they don't want you to be happy. So it's like a lot of reasons why you shouldn't have somebody in your relationship. If it's somebody like you really, really trust and you know only have like your best at heart, then I can see you talking to them. And you listen, but you may not always take their advice, especially if it's like, if it doesn't sit right with you. It has to be something that sits right with you, something that you feel. But other than that, you shouldn't really have too many people in your relationship. People will steer you wrong all the time.
I agree. I want to add to this before we leave. It's never good to have anyone in your relationship as a sounding board. Because sometimes your friends are your friends. So what affects you affects them. And a friend that genuinely loves you is going to try to genuinely protect you. And sometimes in genuinely trying to protect you, they'll give you advice that's imbalanced. That's why when you go to a psychiatrist or you go to somebody for marriage counsel or any type of counsel where you can try to solve a problem in your relationship, you go to people that don't neither one of y'all know. Because when you go to somebody that to her family or to my family, it's going to be an unbalanced conversation, you know what I'm saying? That's not going to really get nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You got to, when you seek counsel, you got to just, pray to God and ask God to send you to the right person that don't know neither one of y'all. Unless they can see things from a balanced perspective. Now, before I leave, I want to ask my queen this question. How do you know that a person loves you in a relationship?
You can feel it. Love don't hurt. You should better feel it.
But how do you know that you feel it?
It's just inside of you can feel it. When they come around, you always want to be around them. It's like, it's just a feeling. You just know you love them. You know they love you. It's the way they act towards you. It's the way they talk to you. The way they treat you. That's how you know when a person truly loves you.
That's correct. Because it is a feeling. And it's a lot of things that we ignore. And that's our gut. That's our gut feeling. Your gut feeling is not knowledge from this world. Your gut feeling is God. That's correct. Because you do feel. You definitely feel love. Love is powerful. Love heals. Love is powerful. What is a relationship without love?
It's not a relationship.
But some people be in relationships, they think they love a person because, see, we are taught in traditional teachings in America that love is an emotion. That love is, we have a very low perspective on love. And if love is God, then love is infinite. So love got different levels and stages, but also love is just not an emotion. Love is responsibility and duty. True love. Now, when you deal with the emotional part of love, that's the type of love that I see that really don't last. Because you can be emotionally caught up in love with a person today, and struggles might come and you might not like that person tomorrow.
Well, you can love a person and not like them. You're not always going to like the person that you love. You go through phases with love, too. You can love somebody to death and not like them all at the same time. But with love, you work through it, and you work it out, you stay together, you figure it out. It's phases of love. One time when I was younger, my grandmother told me, I love you to death, but right now I just don't like you. So, love goes through phases. That's how people been married 40, 50 years. They didn't like each other every day. There was some days they didn't like each other. But they worked through it, and it's always tomorrow.
I agree with that. I want to add on to that. I got to add on to that. See, now you can start talking. Love is built on the system as the seasons. In springtime, wait. I love this person to death. I love how they walk. I love how they talk. I just love everything about this person. Summertime, they're inseparable. You can't separate them. The fall comes. That's when the leaves start falling off of the trees. So that's the part she's speaking about, where they began to not like the person, but you never stop loving the person. You might not like their character at that time, because when you start living together, you start being around each other, you're not gonna like everything about your spouse. But that's what sacrifice come in at. And if you truly love a person, then what is it that you don't like about the person? They talk too much or he talk too much? So you can't overcome that? Then it's not true love. So now, you got the fall. I'm sick of looking at it. I'm sick of looking at him. The leaves are starting to fall. Now, what's after fall? Winter. The love done froze. I can't stand him, and I can't stand her. I'm sick of him. I'm about to leave this relationship. But if you leave the relationship, you abort the struggle that God has for you to learn about a relationship. Because you look at a relationship, on the back of that ship, what you have? A rudder. But who's guiding the ship? The captain. A relation, how you deal with each other, in a ship. So, in the wintertime, you can't stand a person. You can't stand it. But love is set up like the seasons. If you truly love somebody and you stick it out, guess what's coming back around? What was it? Springtime. So now you overcome them struggles and your love grows deeper and deeper for that person to prepare you for another struggle. And as the years continue to grow with y'all, because you're growing, you learning, you sacrificing, you stand in the fight that God wants you to stay in a relationship, you merge and become one. One. So it's no way that she would try to replace you, and it's no way that I would try to replace her. That's why when you find real true love, that when one of them pass away, it's right down the line, a year or two, sometimes 3 or 4, the one that's left behind eventually follows their mate to the grave. Because they can't live without that person. If it's true love. So you can get upset with the person, but at some point you may not like the person, but you will never hate the person. You'll always love that person. You will always love that person. Always. Because love is what's keeping you with them. The dislike don't override love. So I definitely agree with that, Sharif. I agree with that. You want to add anything before we ask any question? You know what I'm saying? This is a platform where it's real, genuine advice. Like, we gave real, genuine advice about relationship, and this is just. I promise you, I wish you could see her off this camera. She talk loud too.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes.
But I'm gonna say this before we leave. Stay in the fight and never compromise your relationship. And if you truly love somebody, it will last and be tested. I mean, it will be tested, and if it's genuine and real, it will last. Period. That's all I got to say. Everything she said, I definitely agree with it. So we're tuning out. May God continue to bless everyone.